guys, welcome to another video of GYC. In this lecture series, we were talking about topics related to computer networks, and there we were discussing about OSI models. And in our previous video, we have discussed about first two layers of OSI model, and now we will go with the left ones. So the third layer that comes in OSI model is network model. So what is the working principle of network model? Network model basically maintains the subnet of the network, and the network layer also controls the congestion in the network so that no overlapping of packets should be there, no congestion in the packets while transmitting from sender to the receiver. These things should not be there. That is maintained by the network layer. So another thing that the network layer do is, before going to that, in our last video you have seen that we have told that data link layer generates a physical address for the message. So the physical address is not everything for sending a message from a sender to the receiver. We need another thing, that is logical address, and the logical address is generated by the network layer of the OSI model. So why we need a logical address and why we need a physical address? So basically, if we give an example of posting any letter, then what we will see, I am a writer, I am writing the letter, then what will I do? I will post it in the post office. So I will post it in my nearest post office. So is it I am not sending the letter to the receiver directly. What I am doing, I am just posting the letter to the post office, and this post office will send the letter to the nearest post office which is near to the receiver, and this post office will find the receiver and he will deliver the message, or better say letter, to the receiver. So here what happens, so while I am sending the letter to the post office, I am writing my address so that the post office can find out that who is sending the message. Post office has its own address, this post office also has its own address, and the receiver has its own address. So the address of the receiver and the address of the sender, here we are considering it to be a physical address which can never be changed. And when we are posting it to this post office, it may happen that the post office is posting the letter to another post office, and from here it is going to there, and this post office is making sure that only the receiver have received the message that the sender wanted to send. So basically this idea is implemented in network layer, so the network layer generates a logical address. So the physical address of the sender and the logical address of the sender is there, then the message is sent, then this through with the help of this logical address and this physical address, the message will be delivered to the receiver. So this is how network layers work. And the another thing, that the network layer also decides the route. That means if the message will go to this way and this way or not, and if the message will go from directly from this to this will be decided by the network layer. This is how the network layer of OSI model works. So after network layer, the layer that comes is transport layer. So what is there in the transport layer? We have said that the network layer basically generates the logical address, that is like the address of both the post office, and the sender sends the message and receiver receives it. But is it all? No. Here the working of transport layer comes to a question. So what transport layer do? Transport. What do you mean by the word transport? Transport means basically carrying something from a place to another. That means from a source to a destination. So here the transport layer do the same thing. The transport layer of the sender side and the transport layer of the receiver side, they both are connected with each other, and the transport layer that is in the sender side, it collects the actual message from the upper layer and it segregates the message into smaller pieces, and it sends the small pieces to the network layer, and also it need to ensure that all the segregated pieces of the message have reached the network layer successfully, and then the message is transferred from the sender side to the receiver side, and the transport layer of the receiver side ensures that all the messages that the sender wanted to send, that is received by the receiver. This is the basic working principle of the transport layer. Another thing of transport layer is we say it as service point address. So what is the working of what is the need of this service point address? In case of system or in case of computer, if we say, then sending a message from a particular system to another particular system, this is not all. Another thing that we need to do is, suppose we want to send a message through WhatsApp. So the WhatsApp is running on a system and it should be delivered to another system who is using WhatsApp on that system. So it never happened that the message I am sending from WhatsApp and the message is received by the Messenger or Facebook in the other system. So what does it mean? It means that the message that the sender wants to send, the through the program the sender is sending the message, should be received by the receiver on the other side through that program or that app only. That means if I am sending a message through WhatsApp, then the message should be received by WhatsApp only to the other side of better said to the receiver side, and these things are maintained by transport layer of OSI model. So this is the working principle of OSI model. So the next layer will be session layer. So let's see what's there in session layer. So now session layer. So what is there in the session layer? In session layer there is three different tasks that is done by the session layer. So what are they? First one is dialog control. Dialog control means the network keeps a track on the message, that which after which and who needs to send the message right now. As we have said earlier that a lot of networks, a lot of systems are connected through a single network. So session layer basically denotes that now this network should transmit his message. This thing is done by session layer, and that is called the dialog control. And then the another thing is token management. Token management means, token management basically says that who will send the message right now. That means if both the party, if we go in depth with computer networks, then we will see in the next few days that in computer network, when we are sending a message from the sender, then the receiver also sends a acknowledgement to the sender. The receiver sends an acknowledgement to the receiver. So this thing is managed by the token management of session layer. That means if we go with an example, that at the same point of time two-person cannot go with a token. If we see in some tokens there is a serial 1 2 3 4. So when token number 1 is having an appointment with someone, at the same point of time token number 2 holder cannot enter to have the appointment. So basically token management maintains the sequence of messages or sequence of both the parties, sender and the receiver. And then the thing is synchronization. Synchronization basically it keeps a note for a long term transmission of message. That means suppose you want to send a message to the receiver and the message is a big file, so it will be a long time transmission. So suppose it will be a 10-minute time taking transmission, and after 5 minutes somehow there is load shedding, so your system is dead or your system is off right now, and after 30 minutes when the load shedding is over and the electricity again comes in, so at that time the synchronization part of session layer will take a note that up to this much was delivered, up to this much of the message was delivered, and now the rest part of the message should be delivered. So this thing is done by the session layer of OSI model, so the overlapping is not there. So up to this we will conclude for the day, and in the next lecture series we will be talking about the rest of the OSI model layers, and there we will be talking about the drawbacks of OSI model. So thank you, and keep watching our videos and gain your knowledge as well as gain your codes. Visit our website www.gainyourcode.com. There you will find a lot of codes regarding computer science, regarding you can find their C programs, you can find their Python programs, shell scripting, then you can find Java, you can find C++, HTML, and you can find various topic, various theory discussion, theory notes there. So please visit and don't forget to subscribe our channel and give a like to this video. Thank you.